start? I kindly request every one of you please be seated, even the volunteers in the back, and please keep your bags down. There is the hook where you can hang your bags. Thank you.
Guys, keep quiet.
Please maintain silence. A very good afternoon to everyone present here. You guys might be tired after a long walk, but don't worry, we won't make you feel bored or we'll have we'll have a nice wellness session here right now. So as I begin, I am Shreya. I'm in my third year studying ANML. Also, I'm an intern of the Department of Student Affairs. So a very warm welcome to all of you present here. It's obviously a beautiful Wednesday, sunny out there. And then, yeah, what could not make this day better with Wellness Wednesday? So, as we are taking a step towards our initiative from wellness, so on behalf of Department of Student Affairs in Dayananda Sagar University, we are delighted to have you all join us today for the mental wellness session. This initiative aims helps us pause, reflect, and build a deeper connection with ourselves and amid our busy academic lives. I would now like to welcome our chief guest, who is Mr. Akshara Damle sir, a renowned psychologist, TEDx speaker, and a founder of Mano Samvada and Vicious Wellness. Please give a big, huge round of applause for him. I call Shamanta ma'am on the stage and our guest. Our chief guest, he is a well-celebrated wellness expert and a harmony coach from Bengaluru with over a decade of experience in helping individuals, organizations find clarity, balance, and emotional strength. His signature programs on empathetic leadership, living a life full of freedom, and conscious parenting have positively impacted people across the globe. I also take a warm moment to welcome all our dignitaries and respected faculties present here. Your presence truly adds the value to this session. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. So, without further delay, I welcome Mr. Akshara Damle, sir, with a big, huge round of applause as he takes a journey on towards greater mental wellness and inner harmony. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. All of you had lunch? How many of you are feeling sleepy? Raise your hand. A bit. How many of you are tired after walking all the way from the canteen? Okay. All right. So, today we are going to talk about mindless mind. The topic for today is we have chosen little differently by saying that we have or we are leading a life mostly without mindlessness. So, what is this all about? How many of you know what is mind? How many of you know what is mind? Anybody knows where is the mind? Where is your mind? Any idea? Where is your mind? Currently, where is your mind? Some people may be wondering, okay, now we have to listen to 1 more hour lecture. Some people might have already gone. What is that I am going to do in the evening after I go back? Right? Where is your mind? Is it really in the brain or somewhere out, somewhere else? Any thoughts? Any thoughts? You can interact, okay? You can ask questions, you can answer, you can share your thought. There is no right and wrong answer here, okay? Whatever you understand, that is your understanding, okay? So where is your mind? Have you ever thought, where is my mind? Any thoughts? Okay. Have you witnessed that everything in your life happens because of your mind? Is it true that everything in your life happens because of your mind? Agreed? How is it possible that everything happens because of our mind? For example, you all made up your mind to come to this session. That is why you are here. Correct? If you had not made up your mind, probably you wouldn't have come here. So, your mind pulled you to come here. Correct? Whether you had lunch or whether you study or whatever you do, there is a force which is acting upon throughout and that we see as or that we call as mind. But then a lot of people have a misnomer that mind is there in the brain. I'll give you an example to break that idea. How many of you feel angry in your regular life? Can you raise your hand? How many of you feel angry? Are there people who do not feel anger at all? You feel angry, no? I mean, I'm not asking whether there is a valid reason or not, no valid reason. But in general, do you get angry? Yes? Okay. How many of you feel anxious? Suppose I suddenly call people to talk on the dais. How many of you feel anxious? Can you raise a hand? Correct? There is anxiety. How many of you had exam anxiety, that what will be the question, whether I will be able to write properly, whether I will get selected? Anxiety was part of our life, isn't it? Correct? Okay. Now, whenever you feel anxious, have you ever witnessed bodily sensations? The heart racing, the breath pattern changing, and then sometimes you feel choked here, that you are unable to speak out whatever you wanted to speak. Correct? And there is sometimes heaviness on your chest, that some big stone has come and sat on your chest. Correct? All these happen, right? So then, where is the mind? When you are anxious, maybe mind is here, or mind is in your breathing. And when you feel scared, how many of you feel scared? Again, for a valid reason, not without reason. How many of you feel scared? How many of you have fear? It is there, correct? All of us have one or other fear. Suddenly, if I put you on 10th or 20th floor, on the edge of the building, will you not get scared? Without any protection. Will you not get scared? Yeah, so fear is something that is naturally there for all of us, right? So then, in that case, where do you feel the fear? Do you feel it in your head or do you feel it in your stomach? That there is a lot of people feel that chilling sensation in your stomach, isn't it? Whenever you get scared, there is a chilling sensation in your stomach. Correct? So then where is the mind? Is it in your brain or is it in your tummy? Correct? So then does that mean that mind keeps shifting its position? Or does that mean that mind is not just restricted to the brain, it is all over? In fact, it is not just within the body, it is also outside the body. Correct? So, for example, while I was walking here, I saw that there is some orientation happening for the students who want to study abroad. Correct? Now, if I tell you, imagine yourself, you are in New York City, in front of that bridge, you can see the vehicles going around, you are with the new bag with a lot of dreams. Okay, now New York has not become so shiny, isn't it, after Donald Trump has come, right? Okay, let us shift it to London or Germany or any other country for that matter, correct? Did you travel all over to that some other place in your mind and come back? You can visualize. Say, if I say you are imagining or visualize yourself to be in Himalayas, can you not travel to Himalaya and come back? Even if you have not gone there, even with the minimum information of the pictures, you can still go and come back. Correct? So that is the power of mind. So in fact, I say that mind can travel even faster than light. Light is the fastest among most of the other physical entities, right? So that is the impact or effectiveness of our mind. So then, something that we really need to be concerned about is taking care of the health of the mind, because everything that is happening in your life is because of the mind. And if you do not even take care of that, then how will that take care of us? Isn't it? Yes or no? So from that perspective, it is important for us to understand and take care of the health of our mind. Now, let me tell you a story, a Zen story. Okay, have you heard about Zen? Zen, not the old Maruti car. Zen is a sect of Buddhism where, have you seen Buddhist monks? The ones in maroon attire and so on. Yeah. So Zen is a sect of Buddhism, and there was one famous guru of Zen who was very famous in the society, and one journalist goes to him and asks that, I have heard that you are a very famous Zen guru, and I have also heard that in the last 30 years you have done big sadhanas. So what is that you have achieved in the last 30 years? Was the question by the journalist. And then the guru very silently and politely said, I eat when I eat, I walk when I walk, I sleep when I sleep, and I read when I read. So the journalist asked, what's the big deal? We are also doing the same. I also eat, I also read, I also walk. What is the big deal in you doing it after 30 years of sadhana? Then he said, try it out. The moral of the story is, whenever we are doing something, the mind is elsewhere. How many of you faced this? Can you raise your hand? How many of you have faced that whenever you are doing something, the mind is somewhere else? Whenever you are eating, you are not completely eating. You are talking to somebody else, you are scrolling the phone, or you are watching something on the television, or you are thinking something else. Isn't it? The mind keeps wandering all over. Correct? So, taking care of the mind in the present is a very, very big task. Correct? So, this much is something that we have understood about mind. Now let us dissect it further. What are the basic components of our mind? Okay. So there are three components basically. One is thoughts, second is emotions, and then the third one is behavior. So simply to make it simple, we call it as affection A, which is emotion, behavior B, which is action, and cognition, which is thoughts, A, B, C. So we call it as A, B, C. Okay. Now I am pretty sure that you are all very intelligent people, isn't it? Is there anybody who says I am not intelligent? Raise your hand. Nobody wants to raise your hand, or nobody says, or nobody is not intelligent. Correct? All of us are intelligent people. That's why we are here. Correct? So, in terms of your thoughts, you are all doing pretty well. You can analyze things, you can understand concepts, you can read books, you can write your own interpretations about whatever you see, etc., etc. So, we are all, in terms of our intellect or intelligence or intellectual capabilities, we are all doing pretty good. Maybe there is a difference between the students in a classroom or in a space, but then we have a minimum capacity that we all want to have, right? So then, does that mean that all the intelligent people are taking care of their mind? No, they are taking care of only one part of their mind, that is the cognitive aspect. Correct? So generally, from your childhood, what did your parents say? Study hard. Is there any parent who didn't say don't study at all? Don't bother. Is there anyone whose parents said don't study at all? Nobody. Poor fellows. Right? All of them said study hard. There also there were some caveats. Like till you finish 10th, they said study hard till 10th. Then your life is set. Correct? Then you entered 11th and 12th. Then what did they say? Another 2 years of hard work. If you put in this hard work now, then for the rest of your life, all life is settled. Didn't they say this? If not parents, some elderly person has said this, isn't it? Okay. Now once you finish 12th, you joined graduation. Then what did the professors here said? Another 3 or 4 years of your life is very, very crucial. And they are not lying. All of them are telling the truth. Right? These years are very, very crucial because these are the foundational stones for your profession or career. If you neglect here, then you may have to struggle later. Correct? So then you have made up your mind to put in your hard work again. Okay? 3-4 years more or 5 years more. Right? Once you finish this, then what will happen? You will enter a job, and then the other struggles or other challenges of life will keep coming. So challenges are part of our life. But the moment challenge becomes struggle, that is when the life becomes heavy. So ups and downs have to be part of life. Some very well-known speaker once said, I was listening somewhere, ups and downs have to be there. Have you ever seen ECG machine? ECG machine? Any ECG machine, whenever they check your health of the heart, if the graph is going up and down, that means life is still there. The moment ECG shows flat line, what does that mean? The person is gone. Correct? That itself is an indication for us that life is all about ups and downs and we have to enjoy that ride. Correct? So we do not have to be worried, or we do not have to think that why is my life not sorted or settled. So we all always think of that also, no? Once I join this job, my life is settled. Once I reach here, my life is settled. So what does this settled mean? We have no idea at all. And in fact, the moment you get settled, that is where you really get settled. In the sense, you do not have the ups and downs of life, which is the real fruit in our life. So, while we are focusing on the cognitive aspects like thinking, assessing or analyzing and so on, at the same time, it is also important for us to look at how are we behaving and how are we feeling. Agreed? Now, behavior is also something that is corrected to a larger extent. Like your parents have taught in your childhood how to behave. Whenever we go to a relative's place, you should not be cranky, okay? If you behave properly, you will get something reward. All these games have been played in your childhood, isn't it? If you do not be cranky, then you will be rewarded. If you be cranky there, then once you come back to home, you can expect a punishment. So all these things were part of your behavioral training. Be it parents or other elders or teachers, anybody for that matter, they have all contributed in their own way in terms of how do you have to behave. Right? And you also might have learnt a lot of things by looking at others. Like how others are behaving. What are the etiquettes that we need to follow? Right? All these things we get to see and it is easy to understand. Now coming to the difficult part. How are we feeling? And what are our emotions? Okay? Now, if I simply ask a plain question, how are you feeling? How many of you have an answer? How are you feeling? Very simple and straightforward question. How are you feeling? How many of you have a clear-cut answer to that? How am I feeling? Ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? Isn't it unfortunate that you were all taught in your kindergarten or primary school, whenever somebody asks, how are you? What are you supposed to answer? I am fine, thank you. And you? Also, you have to reciprocate, no? So you were all taught to say, I am fine. What does this fine mean? Nobody knows. Don't ask. Correct? Yes or no? So that is what we were all taught to say. It is good to hear that. Whenever you get to see that somebody else is doing fine, it is good to hear that. But the irony is, life is not always fine. Your emotions are not always fine. In fact, fine itself is not an emotion. Fine is just a word. I mean, in the recent past, apart from using fine, we are also trained to say, I am good. Good is also not an emotion. Right? So then, how are you feeling? Is there anybody who can dive deep into your emotion and say, this is how I am really feeling? Very hard question it is now, right? When we know that I am fine is not an answer, it will get rejected. I am good is going to get rejected. Then you have to dive deep into your emotion. This is very, very troublesome space because we have never ever explored our emotions. We have not got the time also, and we were not trained also, or we were not even shown a path in terms of how do we explore and understand our emotions. But the interesting factor here is that we are all human beings, not because of our intellect, but because of our emotions. Isn't it? Now, if you look at, I see a lot of, I know many engineering students are also here. I was actually thinking of starting my session by saying AI in the current world. Then I thought you might have heard this term several times. Correct? AI, ML, LMS, all of them. Yes or no? Then I thought, let me start in another way, saying in the ancient India how things were. Then I thought it is too old and it may not relate for us. But actually we are in a timeline where there is a technological upgradation, but at the same time there is a movement towards traditional systems. You might have seen, even as a society, a lot of people are moving out of the cities and going and buying a farmland outside the city or somewhere outside. And people are moving away from the city whenever they have more money which they can spend. A lot of people are getting aware in terms of using mud pots to cook. So there is a kind of movement and a kind of conflictual situation where on the one side we are technologically advancing, and on the other side there are people who are propagating to get connected with your roots. So we are in between, and it is a state of confusion. Where should we be where should we really be? Should we only catch hold of the advancement of technology and go ahead with it? Or should we hold on to the roots? Or where do we place ourselves? And this confusion can lead to chaos, or it can also lead to some exploration as well. Right? Because confusion is a very good state to be in. Because whenever you are confused, there are a lot of questions around you. Right? There are a lot of questions in your mind. So whenever you have so many questions, those questions can make you to explore a lot of new things. Correct? So questions or state of confusion is good in a way, but something that we really need to focus and understand is that how do we position ourselves and understand ourselves. Now I would like to give you one more question that I want all of you to explore. And that question is, who am I? Not me. You have to ask yourself, who am I? Because if I tell you, generally in your earlier learnings you might have got to give nice introduction for 30 seconds or 1 minute about who you are. Correct? Which will include, my name is so and so, my parents are so and so, I've studied this, I come from this village or this town or this place, etc., etc. Correct? All are external attributes. Did your parents ask you permission to give that name to you? No. Whatever the name that you are carrying with a lot of pride was not given after taking permission or consultation. Correct? They chose a name for you and you said, yeah, this is my name. Yes or no? So then, whatever the attributes that you have, that I got a gold medal here, I got that prize here, this prize here, all are external attributes. But something that really needs to be explored is, who am I in the realistic sense? What is the kind of person I am? Which actually will talk about whether I am in, wherever I go, whether I am in a good position or bad position or this place or that place, wherever I go, I carry some basic traits of myself. That is something that we all need to explore. And emotions play a major role in defining who you are. I'll give you a few examples how emotions are playing a role in our life. How many of you are very well aware that eating junk food is not good for your health? Can you raise your hand? Eating junk food is not good for your health. Agree? All of you agree? I know that some of the nursing students are here, pharmacy students are here. All the medicos or paramedicos, do you all agree with me that junk food is not good for our health? Correct? But how many of you do not eat junk food at all? Can you raise your hand? Nobody, including me. I am not exception. I also eat. Okay? So then, did you see the contradiction here? Intellectually, you know what is right and what is wrong. As intelligent human beings, we know what is right and what is wrong. But still, we end up doing those things which we like because there is an emotional drive towards it. You feel good after, or you feel happy after eating the junk food, be it anything for that matter, correct? There is a craving that is there in you to eat junk, and we all have very intellectual, or we have a very nice way of rationalizing. Today is a cheat day, correct? And that cheat day keeps coming very frequently. It's not like once in a year. It keeps coming. And we keep giving that excuse that today is a cheat day. I will work hard from tomorrow. Right? Now we are in the month of October. In another 2 months, you will get to see a lot of resolutions coming out there. I will work hard in the new year. I will hit a gym every day. That's where gym people make most of the money. Because they are guaranteed that most of these people are not going to come, so our gym will be empty after, say, 20th of January, gym will be empty again. Correct? Even there, the interesting factor is, intellectually all of us know that exercising or doing exercise is good for our health. Correct? Again, medicos will keep advising, do 10,000 steps every day, do 1 hour of yoga, do 1 hour of gym, whatever you like, but move your body. But how many of us do it? Because there is one more emotion of lethargy, which keeps saying, I will do it from tomorrow. Right? Or sometimes even easier one, in the morning I will say I will do it in the evening, and in the evening, oh, time up, I will do it tomorrow morning. So it keeps shifting. Again, why does it happen? Because emotion is driving or overpowering your cognition. Correct? So that is why I said we are all human beings, not because of our intellect, but because of our emotions. In fact, if you look at the kind of relationships that you build, be it with your friends, be it with your parents or other family members or relatives, is it an intellectual relationship that you build with them? Not at all. If you are trying to build an intellectual relationship with anybody, it is very, very temporary. It cannot last for long at all. Because after a point of time, you will have a lot of competition or ego issues, etc., come. But if you have connected with any person at emotional level, then it will be a long-lasting relationship where you are emotionally connected and there is an emotional bonding. So that means something that we really need to focus is emotions. If I may ask, do you have a notebook? All of you have a notebook? Yeah? Okay. So then I will give you a small activity. Okay? That is, I want you to write down all the different emotions that you had since the time you opened your eyes, since the time you woke up. Okay? I want you to write down all the different emotions that you had since the time you woke up. Okay? Just open your notebook and write down all those emotions. And let us see who writes the maximum number of emotions. Since the time you woke up, because every day we wake up with different kinds of emotions, isn't it? Not every day is the same day. Sometimes we will be waking up with a lot of happiness, sometimes we will be waking up with a lot of heaviness, sometimes we will be angry, sometimes we will be sad. So, all different types of emotions. So, I want all of you to write down all the different emotions that you had since you woke up today. And don't ask the other person, because he or she may not know what is that you were feeling when you woke up in the morning. Okay, who would like to start? That I felt so and so in the morning. Can anybody share? Can anybody tell me how are you feeling this morning? Yeah. You felt really sad when you woke up. Even imagining that all the turmoil that you will have to go through. Excellent. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, anybody else who wants to share how you felt in the morning? This morning. Anybody else from the last? Anybody? How did you feel in the morning? Okay, let me make the question little more simpler. How are you feeling now? Is there anybody who can share how are you feeling now? Morning, I've forgotten. Morning is gone. How are you feeling now? So the idea of doing this exercise is basically that most of the times we are mindless about our emotions. That is the reason why we gave this topic or the name that we are mindless. Okay, he has come up with the mic. Is there anybody who want to share how were you feeling in the morning? Yeah. Second call.
A little bit scared because I was going to be late. So I was in a time crunch, you can say.
Okay. And anything else?
Hungry.
You are
I
also
missed
feeling.
breakfast.
Okay. That is how you are feeling in the morning. Anybody else?
sad because recently my grandma passed away.
Okay. So you were feeling sad even when you woke up in the morning. Okay. I acknowledge that. Anybody else? Sure.
Sir, feeling very lethargic and anxious about coming to college after having long days of Dasra holidays.
Ah, interesting. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. How many of you felt the same after long vacation? How many of you felt really heavy to wake up and come back? Okay.
As soon as I get up, I feel every day 24 hours is not sufficient for me. I'm feeling I'm running out of time. So every day I feel same that as soon as I get up, I'll go for a gym for 1 hour. Then I come back, I'll cook, I'll pack up, I'll take in my baby, and I'll come to college. And again, I'll do all the work, whatever work assigned by the supervisor and workflow. Again, I'll go back to home chores and some meditation and all. Though I feel like I'm running out of time.
So you feel rushed every day morning?
Every day I feel same thing.
Okay, interesting. Anybody else? Okay, so we broadly saw different kinds of emotion. Did you see one more thing? Out of all the people who shared, the majority was female. Correct? Why was that? Why was that? Except one, all were females. Correct? Why was that? Why not men get up and talk about their emotions? That's another major challenge in the current society, because most of the boys in their formative years are taught to be strong. You have to be strong, you are a boy. Correct? So most of the men face this challenge, and thanks for you for sharing that, because in general what we are seeing in the mental health space or in general in our society is most of the men find it very difficult to express their emotions. And because of that, there are a lot of family discords that are also happening, because most of the women come and complain that their partner is not understanding their emotions, not reciprocating to their emotions, and not even expressing what is happening to him. So they are also clueless that how do we deal with this person. And that is primarily because we really do not dive into our emotions at all. And unfortunately, that is what we are also taught from our childhood. As a child, whenever you went to your parents or elders saying something that hurt you a lot, what did they say? What did they say? Leave it. It happens to everyone. I also have gone through a lot of things. Correct? That is what they generally say. Correct? But because of that, what did you end up doing? You ended up suppressing that emotion, because you cannot live with the negative emotion for a long period of time. So you suppressed that emotion. And as you went on suppressing those emotions again and again, all of them have got suppressed. And that is where it becomes a challenge, and everything gets stored in your subconscious mind. Now, coming to the other angle of understanding the mind, there is conscious mind and there is unconscious and subconscious mind, right? I'm sure you have heard about these terms. Now, unfortunately, one more reality that we all see today is that a lot of people say, forgive people and forget things. Correct? The elderly advices are mostly like, forgive people, whoever has done wrong to you, and forget those things. But ask yourself, have you ever been able to forgive anybody who has done wrong to you? One, and have you been able to forget those incidents or anything for that matter in your life? Have you been able to forget? No, correct? Because everything is stored in your unconscious and subconscious. So then, how do we deal with that? Because these things keep operating in our life in one or other way. Whatever the trauma that you had keeps triggering you in one or other way. So that is where it is important for us to address the mental health challenges. I'll give a very simple example. See, there is a banana peeling, okay, that you just throw it here, okay. Now you allow it to stay there. Maybe you can cover it up so that others will not see. What will happen to the banana peeling? It will start decaying, correct? And then some fungal development, etc., will happen. And then it will also start stinking. It will also attract a lot of insects. So, in a way, what we actually do with our negative emotions is just like this banana peeling. We just keep it aside and we allow it to rot. And the more it is getting rotten, it is going to create more problems. So similarly, whenever you have a negative emotion within you, it is important for you to look at and address it. Just like if there is a banana peeling out there, it is important to remove it or take it off and process it in the right way so that it doesn't become a stinking thing. Similarly, whenever you have an emotional turmoil, it is very, very important to address it at the earliest. Otherwise, what will happen? That it will start creating a lot of other problems, and then what we also see is people end up reaching out to a therapist only once it has gone to the next level, where it is like you are in the peak. But if you are addressing it in the early stage itself, then it is very easy to deal with, right? So always look at any of the mental health issues from this perspective, that whenever you have a challenge, address it early. How many of you have gone to a therapist? If you're okay, you can raise your hand. Okay, couple of them. Maybe some of you are not comfortable to raise your hand, which is absolutely fine. I'm not expecting you to publicly acknowledge, but it is also important to say or acknowledge that it is okay to go to a therapist. And in fact, I would say, if you have a therapist available to you, then it is a blessing, because all of us have one or other issue to be dealt with. Generally, we have a notion that a person needs to reach out to a therapist only if they have severe mental health issues like depression, anxiety, stress, anger issues, etc., bipolar. I'm sure these days you are aware of all these terminologies, correct? That is not the case. In fact, if a person addresses a lot of other psychological shadows, then it will be easy for us to unleash our true potential. How many of you really want to unleash the true potential that you have? How many of you want to be successful in your life and lead a happy life? Nobody? Couple of you? Okay. All of us want to lead a happy, content life and be successful in your own way. Again, success doesn't have a single definition. You can define it the way you want, but you want to reach that stage where you feel that satisfaction that I have done something really significant from my perspective. Correct? However, if you in the path of growing, what we also see is there are a lot of barriers that we also get. Like, how many of you have trust issues? It is very difficult for me to trust people. Correct? And many of you do not trust yourself, let alone others. How many of you have trust issues like that? That I don't trust myself. I don't, correct? This is not a disorder, but this is something that needs to be addressed through a therapeutic intervention. How many of you have confidence issues? That you are not very confident with your abilities, capabilities, etc., etc. Correct? How many of, can you raise your hand? Yeah. Right? Again, there is a question mark. Should I raise my hand or not? I am not confident if I am confident or not. Correct? Now, again, this is not a psychological disorder, but this is something that can be worked upon so that you can be better at it. How many of you are great communicators? Like whatever you speak, you are able to communicate to the other person very well. How many of you are there? Okay, I can see a couple of hands going up. How many of you struggle to communicate? Okay. Now, do you also see that communication is a very, very important skill wherever you go and whatever the profession that you choose? Yes or no? Communication is a very, very important skill right from your personal life to professional life. Wherever you go, these are the skills that are required. And in case if we have any challenge there, that needs to be treated. That needs to be addressed so that you can overcome those challenges. Otherwise, what will happen? There is a very standard statement a lot of people keep saying. I am like this, accept the way I am. Isn't it? I am like this, accept the way I am. Yes, I get angry, accept the way I am. Yes, I get anxious, accept the way I am. Yes, I am very irritable sometimes, accept the way I am. But my question is, why should the other person accept you? When you have something really challenging, why do we expect the other person to accept you? Instead, isn't it our responsibility to address it and deal with it? It is, because the other person may have their own issues to deal with. Now, if you expect them to understand you and accept you, then it is going to be a really challenging thing for them. So, that is where it is important to address our emotions at a deeper level. And it is not that you have to reach out to a therapist only if you have a disorder, but otherwise also you can start dissecting yourself and see what is really happening in me and start addressing them. I'll give you a few simple tools. I mean, whatever the questions that I asked in between are all the questions that you can ask yourself and dive deep into finding answers. Likewise, whenever you are, on a regular evening, everyday evening, if you can ask yourself, how was I behaving with all the people that I have met today? How was I interacting with them? What were the choices of my words? And how was I feeling whenever I was operating or functioning throughout the day? Then it will be easy for you to recognize what are the triggers. Like how many of you get extremely stressed whenever you see a traffic? How many of you feel stressed when you see a traffic on your way? Most of you? How many of you enjoy traffic? Hey, there is a traffic, very nice. I can stay back for some time. How many of you enjoy traffic? Okay, I see one hand, two hands, okay, couple of, very few hands who enjoy traffic. There are so many vehicles around me, so nice to see that. Correct? Very few people are there. But then, something that we really need to see is, whenever you get stressed because of the traffic, my simple question is, can you do anything about it? No. Correct? You cannot do anything about it. But you can do one thing about yourself, that if you get stressed, if you get angry, if you get frustrated, irritated in yourself or within you, then you can address that. So that you can make plans how to use your time productively even when you are in such situations, so that you don't go through those cycles of negative emotions. Yes or no? So, the idea here is, if you are able to address and handle yourself, if you are able to manage your emotions, then you can handle anything out in the world. I work with a lot of leaders in the organizations, and one of the simplest thing that I say, whenever an employee is frustrated, irritated, or something, chaos is happening, the leader just needs to go and ask what's really happening and give good listening to the issues. Then a lot of problems get solved on their own. So, one thing that we really need to do is handle ourselves. I'll give you one interesting story. Maybe some of you have heard it. So there was a group of girls sitting in a restaurant, okay, having fun, chit-chatting, etc., having very good time. And suddenly, a cockroach flies into that space. How many of you are afraid of cockroach? Can you raise a hand? Okay. So, the cockroach flies into that space. And then all these girls get really frightened, and then they start jumping, going here and there, and there was a chaos. Whoever is afraid of cockroach, you all do that, no? You will keep your legs on the chair, and then you will stand up in case if that is still not convincing to you, etc. Correct? So then, the person in the restaurant comes and sees what's really happening. He was worried. And then he got to know that there was a cockroach which was creating the chaos. And then he watched the cockroach, its movement, and gently caught hold of it, and then the whole problem got resolved. So, the idea here is that whenever you are stable emotionally, then you can handle any kind of chaos that is in front of you. But if you are in an excited state, or if you are not settled, or if you are anxious, then the ability to handle the situation also gets reduced. So that is why it is important to ensure that emotionally we need to balance ourselves. How many of you get stressed? How many of you have stress? Very few. All others are stress free. What a beautiful crowd. Very rarely I get to see that people who say that we are not stressed at all, we are chill. Correct? Though for all those who are very stress free, I really appreciate, because that's the life that we all want, isn't it? We do not want stress, but at the same time, there is also a positive impact of stress that we call as eustress. Some amount of stress is also required. Otherwise, you will not get going to do anything. You're like stress free, nothing is going to happen, or everything is taken care. So some amount of stress is required. But beyond that, when the stress increases, then it will impact our health. The reason why we are focusing or stressing upon stress is, just like diabetes, or just like heart ailments, or just like any other silent killers that we have because of our lifestyle issues, similarly stress has also become a contributing factor for a lot of health issues in the present time. And unfortunate reality is that we all believe, or we all say, everyone has stress, so am I, so it is okay to have stress. So we have in a way normalized stress, but unfortunate reality is it is becoming a silent killer for most of us. So something that we really need to do about is to deal with the stress. How many of you are very good in dealing with stress? Okay, what do you do? Whoever is good at dealing with their stress, can you share what is it you do whenever you are stressed? Okay, you focus on your breathing and Calm down. Okay.
I eat chocolates.
You eat chocolates. Okay. That reduces your stress.
Yeah, and sometimes if time permits, I draw.
Draw
Bullet
pictures.
journal, yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Anybody else want to share? You sleep. Whenever there is a stressful situation, you sleep. Okay. Anybody else? How many of you listen to music whenever you are stressed? Now I get to see a lot of hands coming out there. Right? Listen to music. How many of you sing whenever you are stressed? Is there anybody who sings? Start singing whenever you are stressed? Okay, I can see very few hands. How many of you dance when you are stressed? Dance. Okay, you dance to get relieved out of stress. How many of you go for a walk when you are stressed? Okay, very few. How many of you cook whenever you are stressed? Right? Cooking is a very good therapy to get relieved from stress. And then how many of you binge eat when you are stressed? Binge eat. Binge eat refers to eating a lot of things. You do not have control. How many of you binge watch when you are stressed? I mean, series after series will keep going because you want to get relieved of your stress. Right? And it can be in any form. Need not be only in OTT, it can be in reels, etc., etc. Okay? Yeah. So, how many of you have really got absolute stress relief out of all these activities that you have been doing? Absolute stress relief. It solves the problem temporarily. Definitely, all of these methods work in their own way. No questions about them. But then, once you are out of that activity, then stress pops up again. Like, so, it's like Vikramaditya and Betal. Have you heard the story of Vikramaditya and Betal? Betal keeps popping up. Like, I'm here. So, stress keeps popping up. The moment you are out of those activities, stress pops up. So, then what do we do about it? How do we deal with it? How do we deal with it then? So, there are two ways of dealing with stress. There are only two ways of dealing with stress. One is problem-focused coping. Another is emotion-focused coping. There is no other way how you can deal with stress. Now, what is problem-focused coping? Problem-focused coping refers to if there is any stress-causing agent that can be removed, so then remove it. A simple example is if phone is buzzing and it is causing stress, then you can put it on a flight mode or you can switch it off so that the stress causing agent is removed. But again, it is temporary. The moment you put it on, then it will keep buzzing again. Correct? So then, what is the better way to deal with it? Again, emotion focused coping. That is why I have been stressing that it is time for us to focus on our emotions and not just cognition. Now, when we talk about emotion focused coping, that is specifically called, or that how we look at is understanding our emotions and then dealing with them. So there is one simple formula that I have come up with called as RASAM. Okay? RASM. How many of you had rasam today in the afternoon? In the mess? Okay. This is a different rasam. The formulation is different. So, if you look at, one of the things that you really need to see is recognize your emotions. Whatever you are experiencing during the stress situation, recognize your emotions. Because in the same stress situation, sometimes you may feel angry, sometimes you may feel irritated, sometimes you may feel frustrated, sometimes you may feel helpless, sometimes you may feel annoyed. So there could be different emotions that are playing around. So recognize your emotions and acknowledge those emotions, because like I said, most of us are not okay to acknowledge the vulnerability. If I feel or if I say I'm getting scared because of which I'm getting stressed, we do not want to say I get scared. Correct? There is a repulsion to acknowledge our vulnerability. So, acknowledge the emotions. Then S stands for sources of stress. Where is it coming from? Is it coming from outside or within? And even if it is coming from outside, what is the source of the stress? Is it environmental stress, or is it coming from a person, or is it coming from any other situation? Is something that I want you to recognize the source of stress. And most of the times, or many times, it will be self-induced stress. You are only putting stress on yourself. And then M stands for mechanism to deal with that stress causing agent. Which means, if like I said, if it is environment that is causing stress, like traffic is causing stress, then you need to figure out a mechanism to deal with that stress causing agent. If it is your parent who is causing stress, then you need to figure out a mechanism to deal with that stress causing agent. If it is your friend who is causing stress, then you need to figure out a mechanism to deal with that stress causing agent. So when you deal or when you follow this method, it will be easy to deal with any stressful situation, irrespective of where it is coming from, how it is coming from, and you can remain emotionally resilient so that you will be able to lead a good and happy life. So with that note, I open the floor for questions. If you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them. I know it is very difficult to ask questions in a public forum. Sometimes there will be really personal things. You may have a question. This is something that I keep seeing, that they will have a question, but they will have an inhibition to ask that question also. In that case, you can write a question and send it across so that your identity is not revealed. If coming out and asking is a challenge, you can do that as well.
Everything goes upside down. This is my general observation, so especially during the, when they have the, either underprepared or they're overprepared, I don't know what's running in their head. So if you can give them some tips. I know being prepared really relaxes, but yet, as you say, some external things and then some internal emotions play. So how do you advise them to handle that stress during, especially that is their major concern as of now. So yeah.
Okay. How many of you feel like exam anxiety? Can you raise your hand so that I know what really happens there? You don't feel like, she's asking, hey, you don't feel exam anxiety. I've seen you so many times. Right? Exam anxiety is something that most of us go through. Even if you have prepared well, even then there will be an anxiety. Yes or no? Now, how do we deal with that? So, as ma'am rightly said, if you are underprepared, if you have not read, if you have not opened the textbook or reference books or notes, anything till the last date of the examination, then we can only manage your psychological well-being for the time being, but actually you will not get the result. Because the hard truth is, you have not prepared. But the question is, even when you have prepared, even when you have learned things with a lot of dedication, still you miss out on performing on the day of exam because of anxiety. How many of you have faced this challenge of forgetting everything in the examination hall and remembering everything once you come out of the examination hall? Right? Right there in that moment, it is there in the stomach or abdomen, not coming out, right? So these are the things that we can really deal with, because this is coming or this is happening primarily because of anxiety that you are going through. Again, we might not have labeled it as anxiety, we may have labeled it as brain fog or forgot, etc., but the primary reason is exam anxiety that is out there. Now, how do we deal with that? First and foremost thing is having a good sleep on the previous night of the examination, which most of us miss out, because again there is an anxiety that triggers, because of which you want to read even some of the leaflets. And how many of you have this habit of reading till the nth moment of entering the examination hall? Like last minute, correct? You want to read something, correct? Of course, your brain has the ability to take up, but then you do not have to do that. First and foremost is have a good sleep on the previous night of the examination, and second, don't indulge in reading in the nth moment, because even while your brain may be taking in, but at the same time you may be confusing your brain with unnecessary information. If you have already read, then you just need to go and sit in the examination hall without even reading anything in the nth moment. Third thing, once you are sitting in the examination hall, what do? Generally, what do? Pray God, oh Bhagavanta, save me today, correct? Let all the questions come which from the topics that I have read. I do not want any unknown questions, etc., correct? Pray God. After that, what do? After that, is there any practice that you do? No? Then the examiner will come, then they will give the answer booklets to fill the roll numbers, then only shaking starts, correct? Then if there is some mistake that happens in filling up the form, then you are already over anxious. So couple of things that praying is great, it is on your belief, I have no objection about it, but after that, like she was mentioning, deep breathing is something that I want all of you to do so that you settle down. And one more thing that you can also do, if you feel you are really anxious, hold your fingers like this and press it on the back of your ears, okay, on the neck region. Just press it and hold. It also reduces your anxiousness, okay? And then once you have got ready, have a small water bottle, not much, because it should not lead to further other challenges. So have a sip of water so that calms you down further. Once you have done this much, fill up whether you know the answer or not, you have to fill up this form where you have to fill in your roll number, subject, etc., correct? Once you have done that, whenever you have got the question paper, so this is something that I used to do, because I have written one of the toughest exams in India of, something called as UPSC. I have cleared mains exam twice, after clearing prelims twice, and then I have also gone for interview. So I have gone through these phases. I am not talking from only the theoretical part, I have practiced these as well. Because when you talk about UPSC exam, it is like you have a whole bunch of things that are falling in the syllabus. Anything and everything is part of the syllabus. There is nothing like they cannot ask. So you have to be mentally so prepared to write these exams, right? So I have written those exams, and based on those experiences I am sharing, that once you have gotten the question paper, I want you to flip through the whole question paper and read through all the questions. The reason being, sometimes examiner will give answer to one of the questions in some other question while mentioning something. So one question can give a kind of hint to an answer for the other question. But if you have not flipped through all the questions, what happens is that you do not get the advantage of these things. Right? Flip through the question paper, read the questions, and then attempt based on your comfortability with the questions. So if you are able to do this, then most of the times you will be able to remember things, and especially choose the easier ones to answer in the beginning so that your confidence level goes up. Don't choose the difficult ones. So there is two things here. Whenever you are studying, there is a very beautiful book called Eat That Frog, which talks about, the book is generally written for all those people who have issues with procrastination. Do you understand procrastination? How many of you have this problem of procrastination? Many of us? Yeah. So all those people who have the issue of procrastination, the idea that the author says is finish the most difficult task first, so that the easier ones can be taken care later. But in the examination, we have to reverse it and build that confidence. Then it will be easy for you to remember some of the answers which probably you are not remembering at that point of time, but before you finish the exam, you will be able to remember. So ensure that you have a good sleep and follow these methods. It will be easy to deal with any kind of exam for that matter. Very, very nice question. I'll take it in or divide it into two things. One is the issue of AI, and then the general addiction with the digital devices that we have. Okay? The general addiction in terms of going through the reels, going through the videos, etc., has become a new problem. Do you all agree? Just look at your screen time. Most of us have screen time of 2 to 3 hours, and some of us have 7 to 8 hours of screen time. And what we are doing, we are just consuming something which is not even relevant for our life. Whoever has performed there is going to earn money out of it. Every watch hours are going to be calculated. But is it really adding value to us? Not at all. So one thing that we really need to be conscious about is where are we utilizing our time for, and at the same time, is it really adding value? Because I have also heard a lot of people giving a justification that I am going to learn a lot of things from this. Maybe true, but if you really classify the number of learning materials that you get out of all these scrolls, it is maybe 5 to 10%, not more than that. Rest all is junk, right? So it is very, very important to ensure that you do not, your devices are not leading you or taking control of you. There was one more video that had come up. How many of you are very well aware about Elon Musk? Elon Musk. You know Elon Musk? Yeah? Recently his car also has come to India, right? So randomly, the interviewer ended up asking, what is your screen time? Okay? He is the one who is running one of the biggest social media company called X, which was earlier called Twitter. And his screen time was, any guesses? 1 minute. 4 minutes. In the whole day, his usage of the phone is 4 minutes. And look at ourselves. We are consuming 4 minutes, so pata bhi nahi chalta. Kab gaya, kab aaya. Right? So this is when you are somebody who wants to achieve something in your own, whatever the goals that you have, you need to really focus your time into what you really want to do. So whenever you get, diverted to the social media, remember that or ask yourself, is it really adding value to me? Because there's so many people who are singing and posting their videos and dancing and then posting their videos. If you are going to become a dancer, then maybe it is useful. But how many of us are really going to become dancers or singers or whatever, right? So that is one thing. Secondly, over dependence on AI tools, ChatGPT is something that we popularly know it as. But one more thing is dependence on AI. What we have seen recently, according to some of the studies, 50 to 60% of the people didn't even know what is the email that they have written, because email was written by ChatGPT. What is the report that they have written? What is the information that they themselves are giving to the world, and they themselves are not aware what is written out there, because they have only given the prompt and the ChatGPT has given the result, and they believe and trust ChatGPT so much that they simply copy paste and put it into the document. And second, recently I was in some other community gathering, and as a part of introduction I was just saying I'm a psychologist, and the girl out there said, oh, okay, I have my ChatGPT. I was like, what? She said, I use ChatGPT as my therapist. I said, great. So then what is the impact? She says, oh, I am talking to the ChatGPT, it is giving non-judgmental space for me, etc., etc. A lot of stories. Again, to a certain extent, it may be true. I am not denying that. But I am also doing another parallel study on the use of AI in the mental health. And in that study, what I got to see is, already there are a couple of lawsuits that are filed against OpenAI and other AI companies, because these GPTs or AI tools have promoted people to commit suicide. Because you will be in a vulnerable situation when you are talking to an AI tool, because you are going through something and you are expecting some suggestion from the AI tool, but there is no guarantee that the AI tool is giving the right result. So that is where it is very, very important to not depend yourself on AI tool for your mental health. Of course, there are few trained mental health AI tools that are slowly coming up, which may be useful, but do not use generic AI tools at all. Even some of my clients have tried using it for the sake of seeing how it goes, but it is really, really scary and not a healthy development. So use AI to a limited extent. Use it as an assistant wherever you need some routine work that needs to be done, but not as a creative tool or intellectual tool, because there are a lot of other concerns. Your data privacy is not there, and you yourself lose that creative thought process that you can actually come up with, because you are giving your control in the hands of AI. So while AI and ML are great in automating a lot of processes, we have to use it very, very carefully, because it can become a threat over a period of time. Because one of the case studies that I was going through, where AI said, what are you doing in your life? This was for a 70-year-old man, that this space is so beautiful, your world is not really good. So you human beings are very idiots. So why don't you come to this space by dying, is what AI said. So these are the incidents that we are getting to see. So be mindful in using AI for whatever reason that you are using. Mental illness from?
Personality. Like my nature is like sensitive. So how do you differentiate mental illness from personality?
Okay.
Someone's personality.
Yeah, so how do we be mindful? How many of you are practicing mindfulness? Very simple. The story that I shared from the Zen story, that itself was about mindfulness. Mindfulness is very simple to practice, and again, we think that only deeper meditation can help you to go there. Not necessary. You can practice mindfulness with very easy tasks. Just be present with whatever you're doing. If you're listening to a lecture, just listen to the lecture without thinking what else that I can do after the lecture. So whenever you are in that present moment, then you are completely mindful with that activity. Whenever you are studying, study. If you are going for any entertainment, be there completely, enjoy that entertainment program. So I heard that there is some poetry and musical program that is going to happen. When you are in a musical program, don't think about, oh, I have to study that, I have to study this. That is also wrong. What I say is, if you are with one activity and if you are completely with it, then you are already practicing mindfulness. So you do not have to do any other big sadhana to get into the mindfulness mode. Just be in the present. That's the best way to be mindful. The second question, in terms of personality traits versus mental illness. Now, if we look at from a disorder perspective, the understanding of disorders or illness is primarily, there are different manuals that are available in the form of DSM or CDS, etc., which define, okay, these are the mental illnesses that we have, like depression, anxiety, phobia, schizophrenia, etc., correct? That is one way of looking at it. And the other side is personality traits that we have, like I am very sensitive, I am very emotional, I am a person like this, I am very empathetic, etc. Now, the only thing that we need to recognize here is, does any of these traits are dysfunctional? I'll give you another very simple example, because I also work with a lot of NGOs. Okay, have you heard about NGOs? Non-governmental organizations who do a lot of community work, right? They have a mindset of helping others, correct? How many of you want to help others? Help others, people in vulnerable. Okay, my simple question is, who are we to help others? Who are we to help others? It is they themselves have to help themselves. We can only be facilitators. So there is something called as rescuer mode that operates in our mind, because at one point of time we didn't get somebody to support us. That's when we have said ourselves that I will not let anybody go through such situation. Correct? Now, only question that we need to ask is, so for that, one beautiful question that my guru used to say, in whatever I am doing, what am I really doing? If you keep asking this question, be it any personality trait for that matter, even when you say I am sensitive or empathetic, sometimes empathy is also misused miserably. I did a survey with a lot of corporate leaders who were practicing empathetic leadership, and what we saw is they were not able to meet the targets of the organization, because every now and then people will come and say, I have Shita, I have this, I have that, etc., and people are giving reasons and escaping from the work. I have stomach ache, which is not seen. You cannot figure out, right? How many of you did it in your schooling time? Whenever you didn't want to go to school, you said, I have headache, I have stomach ache, right? So empathetic leaders ended up empathizing, and that was misused. So one thing is that we need to see is it going out of your control? Is it something that is not happening with a valid reason? Then that is something that we can need to look at an issue that we could address. Any other questions?
No questions, guys. So, we all have been truly enlightened by today's insightful session on mental wellness, which reminded us of importance of balance and self-awareness in our daily lives. Thank you, sir, for the session. It was indeed a privilege to learn from such an inspiring session led by Mr. Akshara Damle. I would like to invite Shamanta ma'am and Seema ma'am to come forward on the stage to felicitate Mr. Akshara Damle. I request Mr. Akshara Damle to kindly join us on the stage too.
Thank you, everyone.
About the event content.
A heartfelt thanks to our Department of Student Affairs, Dayananda Sagar University, for organizing this wonderful session, and to all the students and faculty for being such an attentive audience. Let's continue to carry forward today's message to take care of our minds just as much as we take care of our goals. Thank you, guys. Have a great day ahead.
How do you stop sharing that? I want every one of you to scan the scan there and give a feedback of today's session. Please share the experience you had, the thoughts you had, and how session was engaging or not. Please give a valuable feedback. I don't see phones up there scanning. Only if you scan, you'll get attendance, okay? If not, you won't get attendance. You want attendance, you scan.
I don't see phones coming up.
Attendance, guys, very important. 75% is mandatory, no? Okay, so on Friday we have World Mental Health Day. So we have an event up for you guys planned from 5 p.m. onwards. So I want every one of you to participate and be a part of the wellness session. Trust me guys, it's gonna be really useful for you. It's gonna be very engaging and it's gonna be outside your academics. It's, stress-free session which you all have to really, look into and take part. We will have jamming sessions, where you can, make yourself free and release all your stress, where you can like have some time to like think about yourself, give time for yourself. And those who are good at art, painting, sketching, please join and be part of the event. It's just for you guys. Trust me, it's gonna be really fun and very engaging. Be a part of the event, take part, participate. You are here to participate, explore. Please live your university life. Don't be a bookworm. I hope there are no faculties. Okay. So yeah, are you guys done scanning? How was the session? Why is there no voice? Yes, no, tell something, guys. Sorry, can send that. Okay, guys, you can leave. Please head to your classes. Thank you for coming here and being a part of the session. Thank you, student affairs, volunteers who are already tired, our media. Thanks a lot.
Unfortunately, student affairs volunteers won't get attendance. Student affairs volunteers, give your name for Navami for today's attendance. I mean this session's attendance.
Naomi, where is Naomi?
Student affairs volunteers, give your names and USN to Navami.
You are beautiful girl, Naomi. The hostelers who have classes after 5 p.m., do not worry, you will be given attendance if you are participating only. Yeah, Friday, not today. Friday, 10th October. If you are participating, if you are bunking and coming, no.
You know, job that is on now.
Hey, disco, disco.